Gaming tech is always evolving. Every year we get new buzzwords, shinier marketing, and another reason to upgrade. Back in the day, it was all about bits, that it was resolution. Now it's a mix of lighting tech and yeah, it's still resolution. Today I want to focus on resolution, and more specifically, why 4K gaming is kinda stupid in 2025. Let's rewind a bit. If you count the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X as a half-step generation, we've had this 4K buzz for a generation and a half now.
Damn!
And yet, we're still struggling to hit 60 FPS consistently on consoles. This current generation might even be worse. If you want 60 FPS, you're forced into performance modes that rely heavily on outdated FSR. And sure, FSR does the job, but most of the time it looks like a blurry mess. The alternative, play at 30 FPS, full 4K quality mode, still using FSR. Then there's the PC side. The beautiful master race in it, glorious path tracing, 100 plus FPS, and the freedom to tweak every tiny setting. All of that if you're willing to spend the kind of money that could buy you a house, just for the GPU. And unless you're the son of a Qatari sheikh or billionaire trophy spouse, that's probably not your case. So the rest of us, the 99% peasants, are stuck with mid-range rigs at best, maybe even old or entry-level hardware. And with that, modern AAA games, you get a decent performance at best, but nowhere near what you see on YouTube. Still, a huge part of online gaming discourse insists 4K is the standard now, that playing in anything lower is just unacceptable, blurry, and disgusting. And honestly,
I disagree.
Yes, 4K looks better. A sharper image is always nice. No one's arguing that, but the price you get to get there is just not worth it. Consoles can hit native 4K at 60 FPS without sacrificing visual or performance. You either play a smudgy 60 FPS mess or lock yourself at 30 FPS with heavy upscaling. On PC, the conversation got hijacked by the idea that you need flagship hardware just to get a decent experience in AAA games. Optimization is out of the window, and the message from studios has become, don't be poor,
Upgrade your PC.
and what blows my mind is people believe that. They think 4K is the only way to play, and will bend over backwards to force their budget hardware to hit the mark. And dude, that's fucking stupid. On console, we don't have much choice. That ship has sailed. Unless devs give us more granular settings, like PC-style options based on resolution presets, we're stuck with performance and quality modes. Imagine if a game like Alan Wake 2 or Black Myth Wukong gave us the option to run natively at 1080 or 1440p, with optimized settings for that resolution. Not just the usual 30 or 60 FPS and pray it doesn't look like soup, but I digress. On PC, however, that's a different story. Personally, I think the ideal gaming experience is a balance, great visuals and great performance. And that's why a lot of people swear by 1440p. It's a solid middle ground between crisp visuals and smooth gameplay. Totally fair. But I still think most gamers, especially worldwide, benefit more from 1080p. Not just people who are stuck with it due money. I mean people who could afford 1440p but would generally enjoy their games more on 1080p. Think about it. If you play on a huge monitor or TV, yeah, 4K makes a difference. I'm not arguing that, but most people play on 30-inch screens or smaller, and at that size, 4K isn't some life-changing leap, especially when it comes bundled with DLSS artifacts and massive hardware demands. At 1080p, your system doesn't have to push 4 times the pixels, and that means more resources for better lighting, ray tracing, shadows, and all the good stuff. For example, I can run Cyberpunk 2077 at 60 FPS with ray tracing on a 4060 Ti at 1080p. No overheating, no stutter, no remortgaging my apartment, just smooth, great looking gameplay. Sure, DLSS at 1080p won't look as clean as 1440p or 4K, but native 1080 is still way less demanding, and the performance you get per dollar spent is hard to beat. Oh, and a side note, we should also talk about settings. Most modern games, the difference between ultra and high is barely noticeable. I'd bet half the players wouldn't even notice during gameplay. I'll leave a link in the description to a great video from TechDwib. He dives deep into that exact topic. So here's my take. In an era of unoptimized AAA games, skyrocketing hardware prices, and over-reliance on upscaling tech, 1080p still makes sense. It's affordable, it runs well, it lets you enjoy modern features without breaking the bank, and most importantly, it still looks great. 4K is nice if you can afford it, but acting like it's the new baseline and everything else is unplayable, in my opinion, is actually very stupid.